30. They found themselves with a strife early on. Wilson batting at number 3 went for 11, but Naomi Jitani setting the ship. 42, Maddie Villiers, Essex number 3 went for 11, but Naomi Jitani run out, setting the ship. She got 42, Maddie Villiers, Essex, Danny Wyatt, 4 before she would run out the crease. 200 Southern Vipers, 24 Danny Wyatt currently at the crease. Here comes Haggett again, Southern Vipers, 24 driven nicely and wide. Here comes Haggett again, extra cover. Gubbins there, it's one saw driven, and it's nicely and wide of extra cover. Fielder there, running around from long off, and it's 4 runs. Intercept the ball, but he went over the boundary edge with running around from long off. Tried to.
That's so well placed. Just to the
ball, but he went over the boundary edge with the ball in hand. 87 for 2.
That's so well placed. Pocket there, just to the left of the old Drummonds, but you would call it. Just making it up into the deep pocket there.
Into Gubbins, and this one's wide this time, wide of square leg, and a good piece of fielding there. And this one's wide this time, wide of square leg, and a good piece of fielding there. Pat from cover point just manages to get a hand to the ball as he settles for 2. Pats the ball back into the rope.
It's looking good. Made it to 20 from just 11 balls. A couple of boundaries in there. It's looking good. Made it to 20 from just 11 balls. A couple of boundaries in there.
And he waits as Haggett around the wicket. Guided. Beautifully. Fine. Haggett around. Fine of third man. The race is guided. Beautifully. Fine. Beaten him. Really. Fine of third man. The race is on. Shot there. And the ball has beaten him from Gubbins. Really, it was very full, and all he needed to do was just shot there. Down, he did.
Yeah, placement a couple of times in this over from Gubbins, once on the drive, and then with that deft placement a couple of times in this over from Gubbins, once on the drive, and then with that deft short third man and deflection past the keeper. Just had the legs fine of rolling short third man, and just had the legs to
very wide of the crease. This one's just placed once more. In between backward points, wide of the crease. Third, and this one's just placed once more in between backward points, and that's short third. Settle for 2. So 95 for 2 at the halfway mark.
You consider how tough this side was to get into last year.
95 for 2 at the halfway mark.
It was such a strong team with AB de Villiers. This side was to get into last year. Owen Morgan, Paul Sterling, who unfortunately such a strong team with AB de Villiers, of course. Play in the Owen Morgan, Paul Sterling, who unfortunately is no longer eligible to competitions. Play in the County Championship as a local player, or Irish status. But various players like Gubbins and Max Holden, who made 100 of his Irish status on Thursday night. Players like Gubbins and Anderson, so 3 of the top 4. Of course, who really weren't fixtures in this team. And indeed Martin Anderson, so 3 of the top 4 who really weren't halfway there in this team halfway through last year. So we're halfway there, halfway through his third over from the pavilion end now. Kai on the back foot to bowl, cutting out towards the sweeper at deep point is Eskenazi. He moves to 38 foot, 27 balls. Adam Collins cutting out towards the sweeper in the commentary chair. Eskenazi, he moves to 38 from 27 balls. Adam Collins to my right. Back with you in the commentary chair.
Very nice chairs as well.
Isabel Westbury to my right. It's a lovely spot to be.
Very nice chairs as well.
As we will be throughout the course of the T20 Blast here at Lords. Kayam. Going as we will be throughout the course of the T20 Blast here at Lords. Confusing myself there. Good pull shot in any case by Gubbins. Around the wicket, over the wicket. Down towards the rope. Confusing myself there. Good pull shot in any case. So another boundary for Nick Gubbins. He's 30 from just 14 balls. Middlesex bring up their 100. So another boundary for Nick Gubbins. He's 30 from just 14 balls. Middlesex bring up their 100. 100 for 2. Trying to change the angle at a left-hander. The 100 up in just 62 balls for Middlesex. They're well on their way for 200 plus here. The 100 up in just 62 balls for Middlesex. They're well on their way for 200 plus. Full toss. He elects to place it to deep point. Kayam to Gubbins for a single. Toss. He elects to place it to deep point for a single. Yes, this is particularly nice being up. If you're watching, yes, this down is the barrel of the stream. We are at long on when Eskenazi's on strike. Down the barrel of the stream, we are at long on when Eskenazi's on strike. Defended. Well, not defended as much as he tried to squeeze it out, but it's full. Almost yorked himself. Floated and defended. Well, not defended as much as he tried to squeeze it. This time Eskenazi makes solid contact, but only as far as mid-off. Collected by Bell Drummond. They take a single. So 102 for 2. Eskenazi has 39 of them. 1 ball to come in this, the 11th over. Small change in the field. Bell Drummond moving himself to backward point when Gubbins He's on strike to cut off his ability to rock onto the back foot. Instead, he clips off the front. 2 deep mid-wicket. He'll retain the strike. 103 for 2. Gubbins has 32. 9 overs to go. Well, yeah, 200 minimum from this place.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with these two going as they are. Their partnership now over 50, or no, nearing 50.
You know, they came together at 56 when Anderson was out.
So 47.
Leg before wicket to Haggett for 24. He was the second wicket to fall. The first was that of Max Holden. He was bowled by Claasen's second delivery when he was 7 and the score was 12 in the second over. Stewart is back into the attack. He bowled the first over of the game from the pavilion end. He's now at the nursery end. On the way around the wicket to Gubbins. It's full. Gubbins doesn't quite get all of it. Gets very little of it in the end. It spills out towards extra cover. They take a single. He's 34.
Yeah, very quick between the crease. Gubbins.
So Grant Stewart, an Australian originally, has an Italian passport, playing as a local here. Oh, he's attempted ramp by Eskenazi, but doesn't make contact. The ball ends up in the gloves of Robinson. But I like what he's trying to do there, because third man's up and fine legs up. So if he makes any contact there, it'll almost certainly run down towards the boundary in front of us here.
Guilty perhaps just going a little bit too early. I think Stewart picked it up there as well.
Stewart goes again. Eskenazi full, clipping. Out through mid-wicket. There'll be 1 there and there'll be 2 there. Good running from Gubbins. He was on the bike and turning.
Yeah, it's one thing that he seems to do is he makes it look so easy, those 2 runs between the wickets, when you think, oh, he's got a single, possibly a 2, and already Gubbins is halfway down the track. And you know, it comes into a dead certainty rather than a maybe.
So 5 men out, all in front of the wicket. Stewart bowls. Eskenazi, can he beat backward point? He can. That'll run away for 4. He moves to 45 and Middlesex 110 for 2. Just using the pace of the ball, getting deep in the crease and realising that if he placed it well enough, it'd be a certain boundary.
Yeah, backward point there. Just slightly underestimating the speed of that ball, waiting a little fraction too late. So dive to his left there, Fred Klaasen, and it resulted in a boundary.
Stewart to the crease. Eskenazi through mid-wicket. They should come back for 2 again. And they do. Again, Gubbins making the early call that it was going to be 2. Running back towards the non-striker's end, and Eskenazi was comfortably back. 47, the right-hander. It's 112 for 2 with 1 ball to come in the 12th over. Stewart bowls. It's 4 more for Eskenazi. That'll be his half-century. It crashes into the rope. 51 from 34 balls after opening the batting. Isabel Westbury, he's been on top form.
Yeah, it's funny, in that Essex match, he certainly almost looked as though he was the one that was hitting the ball more nicely in that opening stand with him, between him and Holden. Holden, of course, going on to make his century, but Eskenazi, he hit 3 4s in that opening over. He came with intent. He's trying to sort of make up, I guess, for an under par performance in the Bob Willis Trophy, but he's looking out here.
His 6th half-century in T20 cricket. Indeed, he's nearing his highest score of 57 not out. 12 overs gone, plenty of time. 116 for 2.
There's a bit of sunlight warming things up, peeping in between the clouds.
No complaints. Haggett back from the pavilion end to Gubbins, who isn't able to find the gap from the full toss. Straight out towards cover. Alex Blake does the fielding. They take a single. He's 34.
I've seen a couple of those low full tosses. They seem to be part of the armoury of T20 cricket. Sort of, you don't think they should be, but they are often one of the hardest balls to actually get away. To get underneath them, often kind of square you up, sometimes even surprise you. Not something you're always expecting as third man. Looks as though he's going to be pushed down to the boundary. And
yeah, a couple of tweaks here. So we've got a long on and a third man who've gone back between deliveries. Haggett bowls and Eskenazi picks out the captain Bell Drummond, that extra cover, no run. So the men outside the circle, deep point third man, deep square, deep mid wicket and long on. Haggett to the crease. Eskenazi shimmying forward outside the off stump, wide enough to be signalled accordingly. So that helps. One to the sundries, 118 for 2.
Yeah, that was very wide. One of those that you start to wonder if that was a red ball game, that might even also been called a wide. More unusual there, of course, but that one I think he knew as soon as he'd released it.
Haggett goes again. Eskenazi up and over the top of square leg for 6. The first big one of the day for the Middlesex opener. He's 57 not out from just 36 deliveries. 124 for 2 is the score. As I mentioned before, that's his highest score in this format of the game.
Yeah, really sensible cricket there from Eskenazi. That wide delivery, the previous ball, and perhaps knowing that Haggett was going to be concentrating more on getting that line right, anticipated it to be a bit straighter. And a big sweep shot over the top of square leg.
Happy with one to mid-wicket here. Will they consider a second? They won't. So he's 58 now. Good to see as he throws his head back. He feels like he might have missed an opportunity to go big with consecutive deliveries.
Cricketers always chastising themselves. It's one of the quirks of the game. Never quite happy.
Yeah, he was really important, wasn't he, on that final day at Radlett against Sussex. Haggett bowls to Gubbins, beats him with a slow one. Eskenazi was out in the 20s, but batted through that tough period as they were whittling down the required runs to go. I think he was probably dismissed with 40 or 50 runs to get. Did a lot of work in that middle session. Dancing down the track is Gubbins, but it'll be signalled a wide because Haggett, for the second time in the over, has missed the tram tracks.
Yeah, very erratic over here from Haggett. We've had wides down both sides.
I think he might have suffered from the gust of breeze picking up just as he reached the bowling crease. Certainly where we are, almost directly behind him, it felt that way. Goes again, wide of the crease. Scooping and doing it so well there is Gubbins. Running away for 4. That's his 6th boundary out of 38. 6 boundaries in 20.